Okay. Let's close this one out. This is ridiculous. See, y'all know what it is. Now I got to start the whole thing over again. I cannot believe that just happened. All right, we'll try this again. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, somebody give me a thumbs up in the chat once y'all get over here on this new link. I don't know what the heck that was about, but I see how they be doing sometimes. All of a sudden, they just cut the stream. I don't know what that was about. Initially, I thought there was something wrong with the internet there, but let's see what we got here. Make sure the new one's working. Yeah. Okay. What the hell was that? See, you know what? You're trying to get me off of my focus over here, YouTube algorithm people. I just want y'all to send out some notifications. And instead of that, what I got is a whole bunch of glitch. Everything went crazy. The whole stream just shut down. You know why it was? Because I was trying to talk that reel again. Y'all know what happens. I talk that reel, and then the reel, it pisses off the algorithm. So now, because I'm not going to have to cut the shorts from this episode, and we are definitely halfway through something, I got to bring the whole clip back down. I got to take it all the way back. No pun intended, but intended. So here we go.
On plugs. I said
I gotta preempt it now, because now there's gonna be new people that didn't even see the clip on the first stream. So apparently a parent is upset about sex ed class teaching their kid about butt plugs in high school somewhere. I'm not sure which high school or what age group, but I think that's a little inappropriate as far as what you need to be teaching them. Show them that picture that I never forgot with the genital warts all around the person's thing. I never forgot that to this day. I will never forget that joint. And they showed us every diseased picture from herpes to HIV. That was what sex ed was for us. It was not a fun class. It was disgusting, actually. And I'm like, it had the boys and the girls looking at each other funny. We ain't like y'all for a second. Like, that's what you got down there? They show like a really bad yeast infection or something, and then the guys be looking at the girls like, you nasty. You know what I'm saying? And the girls would be looking back at the guys, and like, they'd see that, you know, the dude who had the gangrene on his lower area, and it's like, it's nuts. Anyway, this is a lot because this is a new stream, so this is within the first 2 minutes. I'm probably gonna get cut again. But I'm just saying, that was sex ed that I remember. It was not about toys and, you know, butt plugs and, you know, edible underwear, and we weren't doing all that lingerie. That was not sexual education. That's what is that, hedonism or whatever. If that's a I don't know, whatever that is, heathenism. That's what I meant to say, heathenism. All right, so one more time, let's play this thing. Is the stream still active? Yes. So we're gonna go there.
Plugs. And I said that I think that in high school groups, where unfortunately we know that students are having sex, and that I think that safe sex is always important, safe sex practices are always important, and that is that's queer sex, though. That's not heteronormative sex. And then you called it disgusting. So you told me that the sex that my counterparts have is disgusting, and I don't see how that is not openly homophobic.
The reality is it's not openly homophobic, because that means that you think...
So call queer sex disgusting?
No.
You don't think that's homophobic?
That means that you think that only homosexual couples use butt plugs.
Which is not true.
No, they absolutely don't.
Heterosexual couples use butt plugs as well.
So do you think that just butt plugs in general are disgusting?
So I'm saying
it's generally
teaching
nasty.
children minors about this is disgusting.
Right. So I guess that comes into a abstinence-only education versus safe-sex education.
No, it's not abstinence only. It's not safe sex. Because at the end of the day, a butt plug is not going to create a child. It's not going to have an issue on a person that relates to catching an STD unless the actual butt plug is not properly sanitized.
Exactly, and I think that's what that book was detailing, is how to safely use those instruments.
Educate children on how to use butt plugs. Children, if you're an adult and that is what you want to do, if that's what stimulates you and gets you off, have at it.
Sex time.
Are you a parent?
I'm not a parent.
Oh, so you're not a parent. Okay. And you are a parent?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What the hell is even that?
And so, as a father, 2 boys and a girl, I don't want anyone teaching my child how to use sex toys of any kind. That is
On butt plugs.
All right, so
And I said,
I'm just going to be honest. Like I said, sex ed was not a fun class when I was coming up. It wasn't even funny. Like, it wasn't even humorous at all. It was disgusting. It was really nasty. Images are in my mind that will never leave my mind for the rest of my life because of sex ed in high school. Now, they were not teaching us about butt plugs and how to sanitize butt plugs and how to sanitize sex toys and all that kind of stuff, because it wasn't education about like how to have sex. It was education about what can happen if you have sex. So that's why they say that abstinence first is always the safest way. It was about safe sex. If you're going to do it, be safe about it. If you're not safe about it, your thing's going to look like a dirt bike tire once the warts get to going out of control. And that was enough to keep a lot of us strapped up. I'm just going to be honest. Now, if they would have been teaching us about butt plugs and things, I feel like to a degree, that's kind of promoting it. I mean, just if you're saying, well, look, you know what? If you put one of these in your anus, it'll stimulate your prostate. And you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, I don't know. And then I'm still not 100% sure if this is a male or female, because I don't know if we're allowed to say male or female anymore. At least somebody told me that we're not allowed to say. I'm gonna still say my shit. I don't know what y'all talking about. But apparently, male versus female teacher has a curriculum that's covering these things. And they're reading a book about how to use butt plugs. Now, let me say this. I have been working with the schools, or attempting to, for quite some time. Some schools have always been nice. I'm dealing with some other schools. They're not always nice. It's like they don't want you in there to tell them that this is some bullshit. Like when you look at their curriculum, you say, I need your whole syllabus. I need your curriculum. What are you teaching the kid week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, right? And it's like they don't really want to give you that. Back in my day, the syllabus would come out and this was the lesson. The parents could follow along with it. It's like all of a sudden they started kind of hiding the information, and then you find out stuff like this. This makes me uncomfortable. I have high school kids. If they go to sex ed class, I don't need them to come home asking about butt plugs. I want them to come home and ask about that dirt bike tire that guy had for a penis and how they can avoid that. And, you know, back then they used to say, hey, you got to stay away from the little fast girls, man. They'll burn you up. And the girls would get the same story on that side. I'm not saying that it worked 100%, but it definitely was a better deterrent than telling people how to use sex toys. Now, from the teacher side, and I hate to play devil's advocate in this regard, okay? The teacher thinks that by teaching this thing about sex toys, they're promoting abstinence. To say, okay, you're having these urges, and you want to bust one, okay? You want to bust one, but you don't want to possibly get the dirt bike tire penis or whatever. Here's some ways to do that without putting yourself at risk of catching an STD. So from that angle, I see what this person is trying to say. And it's like, you can almost make anything believable if you twist it tight enough. Because in my own brain, I don't believe that shit, but I just came up with what the argument is because I heard what the person said. And we're about 90% sure this is a female. Okay? But see, this person mentioned queer sex and said, well, you're saying that my group's sex is disgusting. And mentioned queer. So what is queer anyway? It's just strange. And honestly, butt plugs aren't strange. People are using them. So I've seen chicks walking around with them. For some reason, I don't know what that's about. It's disgusting to me. But I'm just saying, like, all right. But those are grown adults, not high school kids. I don't think the high school kids need to have a whole lesson on the proper sanitation and insertion of butt plugs. Okay? That's just me. So, it's a hell of a story there, but special shouts to y'all stopping in the chat here. I'm sorry, the earlier stream got totally botched and they cut it, forced a new stream, which has now brought in some people that I haven't seen in a minute. What's up, Alicia? Alicia, I see you in there. Al Bond in there. Jeff Kendall in there. This gong's for y'all, okay? Wow. And one more for good measure. Wow. Okay, so I don't know, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that we should be teaching the kids butt plug sanitation in high school? Or is that something that should be reserved for the adults to teach each other? Or just no. Like, if you put something in there, you need to sanitize. Don't just be shoving stuff in there. That seems like common sense, though. Like, I don't think I need a class to tell me, hey, don't just throw nothing up in your thing without making sure it's sanitized properly, because there's a lot of nerves and exposure in there. And your prostate. So, all right. All right, next story. All right, so this is a new stream. Like I said, there was a craziness that happened on the earlier stream, and if it happens again, I'll do the same thing I did this time, which is quickly create a new stream, put the link to the new stream on the old stream, and then let the old stream just sit there and chill. So now we are off to the races again. We got 20 folks in here. I need the likes to come up, please. Go ahead and put them likes up while we get to this next story. Skip through the ads if you don't have that premium uncut internet dope like some of us do. Make sure you skip through the ads because you'll end up in the chat like a minute behind everything. So you got to skip through them ads, all right? That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Okay, so our next situation. Now, this one came to me on, is this a booker? Like a Facebooker? Oh, you know what? That is a Facebooker. All right, so let me pause this one. What was this one here? Oh, this is a different one. Okay. Now, look. I know y'all just came in here, and I got to be fair because people missed the whole first stream. There was only like 3 people sitting on it. It was glitching out. It was something going on with YouTube. I don't know. It's just funny how they have those problems when I got to go live. I'm not saying it's never happened to anybody else, but now all of a sudden we got some folks come in, and I appreciate it too. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you bang the notification bell. I've been getting a lot of complaints that y'all aren't getting the notifications. I'm letting you know it's not me. It's not me. I'm not doing it on purpose. I want you here. I want you here. All right, so sorry. Before we proceed, I still just can't get over this guy's picture. So I'm gonna get to the next story, but I just got to show you this picture because y'all didn't see the first stream, so you missed it. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back for everybody that missed it. And thanks again, IAMZ, Albon, all my mods in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here. I just had to bring it back to this picture because it's still on my other desktop screen. Now I want to know, what do you guys think this guy is? Because this man's hair is flowing. I feel like it's a man unit. I feel like right up under here, there's a shine. There's no hairline. It's just a right there, and you see where the break is right down there. This guy has a whole big ass, bald ass, Steve Harvey bald head, and he didn't put this animal on top of himself to present himself to the American public with a big smile on his face because he knows you'll believe it. All right. So I'm still not sure who this guy is, and we're going to get back to that at some point. I'm going to figure it out later in the episode because I didn't want to stop to figure out who he was. But this picture is going wild. So everybody's doing the memes. They're putting Obama face in there. They're putting Trump's face in there. And they're putting whatever. So I'm going to do one. I just got to figure out who face I feel like this looks like, and then I'll go have some fun with Photoshop. So make sure you hit that like button while we're taking our quick break there for some comedy. And I wanted to bring this next thing to you because we're kind of on the kids again, right? And it all goes to the point of the episode. The episode is about how the authoritarianism that we're following has literally just placed us on two sides fighting against each other and not moving forward. And it's because everybody's got a damn opinion about everything. And it's like your opinion, you got to stand on it and die with it. Like, you can't just say, yo, this is my opinion. I'm cool with the fact that you have a different one. And then you move forward in life. People are vicious right now. They're absolutely vicious when it comes to how they're dealing with differences of opinion, from conflict resolution issues to we're being too violent to, you know, if you go on X, there's a lot of racist ass people out there. It's kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. I thought we had come further, but I'm going to be real. I thought we came a little further than some of the stuff I see on X, but I appreciate y'all for being so open and utilizing the First Amendment so I know what I'm really dealing with. Okay? Thank you. So this lady apparently is getting some flack because she charges her kids rent to live there. And the kids are 18, 20, and 22 years old. Now, some of us have older children, so we might understand her point. A lot of people are saying that she's being unfair by charging them to live there because they didn't ask to be here. You know, that whole story. So we're going to let her say her piece. We'll have a quick discussion about it, and then we're going to keep it moving, all right? So I don't know what her name is. It doesn't really matter. It's about, it's Oregon Crystal. She got that bacon collar, though. You see that bacon collar right there? That shirt that's under it has had more wears than the shirt that's over top of it. Let's just know that. That bacon collar is serious. All right. So let's see what Oregon Crystal has to say.
My
here.
kids are 18, 20, and 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I am amazed on here that what gets me the most hate in the comment section of posts is if I mention that I charge my kids rent. It's kind of shocking.
That's what the problem is.
The rule, since they were young, they've known, is if you're in college, you can live at home for free. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you have to work full-time and pay rent.
Sounds fair.
Start them about 6 months after graduation at $400. It goes up $100 a year. They have to start paying their own car insurance and gas at 16 and their own cell phone at 18 and rent if you're not in college.
All right, I'm going to pause right there. This method is not in any way illegal. It doesn't seem to be, in my opinion, unfair. I'm going to be honest. If you're not working on nothing, if you're not in college and you're living at home with mama, you should be paying something. And I'll be honest with you, I would love to live anywhere for $400 a month. Just saying, that'd be awesome. I would definitely be able to save a couple dollars. But so far, what she's saying, I don't see what the big problem is. First of all, it's her kids anyway. Let's just be real. That's her kids, her life. So who cares what you think about whether or not she should be charging her kids for rent? And we don't know what kind of house they live in. And we don't know how big these kids are and how much they eat. And if there's 3 of them over 18, they're eating like 3 grown-ass people. That's like a whole family, another family on top of you at that point. Not just your family. That's like if your kids have kids. Once you get that 18, 19, 20, I remember I used to eat a whole medium pizza to the face when I was 18. All 12 inches, right in my mouth. Pause! So, let me let her finish up, okay?
I've had people say in the comments, your kids are going to hate you. Don't be surprised when they cut you off and never talk to you. And I guess if I raised crappy adults, that might be the case. But that's not the kind of people I raised. My son that's still at home pays rent, doesn't complain about it. And I increase it $100 every year, and at some point he's going to say, okay, this is too expensive to pay to live at home. I'm going to move out.
I mean, this seems like a great method.
It's my house. They're adults, and that's the expectation, and they've known that. And my 18-year-old moved out with his friends, which is totally fine. He pays about the same he would pay me at home right now. He got lucky. But my daughter at 20 bought a trailer, lived in it for 6 months to save up and buy a house with her husband. So she's 23 now, and they own their own house that they got all on their own. And my son, who's living at home, has a ton of money in savings. So, I'm raising them to take care of themselves and be adults. You can't ask to have your parents treat you like an adult and still act like kids.
Right.
And I don't blame parents who want to pay for their kids' things. Every family situation is different, but my kids have known this is how it's going to be their whole life. Mm-hmm. And we have a great relationship. And they could go ahead and be mad at me if they want, but I didn't raise kids like that. My mom made me pay all my own bills when I was a teenager, too, and I didn't hate her for it either. In fact, I really appreciated it enough.
Yeah.
The responsibility and how she helped me mature when you're supposed to, that's why I then did it with my kids, and even kind of tweaked it a little bit. So anyway, it's just really funny to me, the hate you get on here. Likely from kids who probably live for free off of their parents. Kids.
You're messing it up for the rest of us. Stop it, Crystal.
But it is kind of funny. Do you guys charge your kids rent? Because it seems like I'm one of the few.
Well, Crystal, I will say this. You probably are one of the few, ma'am. And it's unfortunate because this system seems to be beneficial. Like, from what I know and how I came up, Lolly Watts, thanks for stopping in the chat there. I see you jumping in there. Jeff Kendall, I see you in the chat there as well. Let me give y'all a couple of gongs. Okay. But I'm going to be real. Okay? If you got it to pay for your kids to go to college and all this other stuff, maybe you can just have them live rent-free till whenever. But you're not teaching them to be adults at all. Adulting requires you to take care of yourself. Now, maybe mommy and daddy might help with a little something here, maybe some food or some gas or something, but you paying your rent. When you live as an adult, you're paying your rent, you're paying your car payment, you're paying your car insurance, you're paying your health insurance. And this might be, health insurance is a little bit different because you can stay on that until you're like 26. You can stay on your parents' stuff for a while because if you're in college, okay? And I believe that these are the formulas that we need to be using to pass on good knowledge to the next generation. The world don't care about your mama not being there. You feel me? The world doesn't care that your daddy wasn't allowed to talk to you for 10 years because your moms and him didn't get along. The world doesn't care that your grandmother was a crackhead. The world doesn't care that your best friend moved away from you and you were emotionally distraught over it. The world cares not. The world cares about how much you can put into it, how much energy can you put into it, how much taxes can you pay, how much work can you do, how many inventions can you come up with. It's all about productivity. You can't be productive if somebody's producing everything for you. If you're 100% a consumer, you're not a producer. So if all kids are doing is taking, living for free, blah, 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 they're not producing anything. They're just consumers. So you're not teaching them how to live because in order to live, you have to produce. In order to truly live in this world, you got to produce some shit or you're going to hate your life. And I don't just mean produce music. I mean, like, you have to create generational wealth. You want to produce something. You want something that didn't exist before you got here to now exist because you're here, other than you. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll say this, Miss Crystal from Oregon, you keep on doing what you're doing, ma'am, because I will reserve this thought for myself, but I think her kids are going to be the ones that are going to be okay in this non-discriminatory merit-based society thing, right? The ones that are getting spoiled and they spoiled to the day's end, they're going to be the ones that are living like crap. So her kids are probably going to be fine, and they're going to turn around and take good care of her when she gets older because they're going to appreciate that. I appreciated some of those things about my parents. I did the same thing with my older kids. From very young age, I wanted them to have college as an option, but not just college, like scholarship college. So if you want to go to college, I can't afford it. Why? Because I was a young parent, and I knew if things didn't go great, they were going to be a certain age, and I wasn't going to be old enough to make enough money to really support like a nice 4-year college. So from day one, I set them on a course to where college was not only an option, but as an option, it was a scholarship option. I will never forget when I went to one of the orientations, like a financial orientation, and they give you the bill for your kid, and my bill said 0 on it, and I'm looking around at all these people making life decisions about how they're going to pay for their kids' education, and I'm thinking to myself, if I hadn't set them on that trek early, I wouldn't be able to sit here now with a $0 financial obligation. All I had to do was buy cool stuff, computers and clothes, and like kind of spoil a little bit. But I didn't have to pay for the tuition. You know why? Because I put in the work early. Then I remember my son, he got a car, right? His first car. And I put it on my insurance. Now, anybody knows you get a 16-year-old on your insurance, it skyrockets your insurance, right? I didn't charge him what the difference was in my insurance. I asked him for $50 a month on his insurance. He paid that sometimes, but it was the first time he ever had to pay anything like insurance. So it wasn't the worst thing ever. But he did learn a valuable lesson from that. Now he's a little bit older, and his insurance and stuff is paid, his car is paid, and he had no problem with it. He's not calling Daddy like, Dad, you never told me this. No, he's like, Dad, thank you for telling me this. And that's what you want your kids to do, is say, thank you for not trying to be my damn buddy the whole time I was growing up and trying to teach me what you were able to see in hindsight as an adult. That's where we make so many mistakes, is it's like we want to birth a friend. I don't need you to be my friend. I need you to be a good person in this world. And good people don't do dumb shit. And when I see you do dumb shit, I have to correct it, and you're not going to like me for doing it. So I have to set you up with stuff. You don't want to have to pay $50 a month, but you didn't understand, or he didn't understand, that $50 a month for insurance is nothing compared to what you really actually have to pay for insurance. So to him, it was a lot, but 2 years later, when he had to get his own insurance policy, he's grown up a little bit, he's like, damn, Dad wasn't even asking me for a lot. He just was getting me used to paying for something. I never told him how much it actually was. I just told him how much he had to pay. So in his mind, it was a lot of money he was paying, but he didn't know the insurance bill was actually like $400 a month once I put him on there. But he did learn a valuable lesson, and when it was his turn, he did well. So thank you, Crystal. Keep doing what you're doing. And if we were to rewind to the previous story, don't teach the kids about butt plug sanitation too early. So anyway, you guys in the chat, if you're still over here, make sure you're hitting the like button. The algorithm and I have been fighting very much the last week or two, to the point where it just streams are being cut and all types of stuff. It's like they don't even want us to be here no more. It's crazy. It's crazy. We struggle for them 5,000 subscribers, and thank y'all for helping us get to that. And you know what? I got to just bring it back one more time. This is going to be the new Rick roll. This picture right here is going to be the new Rick roll. I'm telling you. So anyway, let me get back to my situation. Next story. All right, what we got next here? What do we have next here? All right, so we got that. Hold on a second. Oh, cool. Okay. Got that one. Got this one. Oh, we're about to get into some relationship crap. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. Hold on a second. All right, so apparently... All right, I got 2 relationship clips today. I don't know. This is what's on the trending. There's a relationship clip today. And this one is... Apparently some young girl is talking about she's masculine. She's real masculine. And so because she's real masculine, she doesn't want a masculine man. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, so let's see what the hell she's talking about. But You guys can put your thoughts in the chat, please. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here.
With a guy, I couldn't be with a masculine man because I'm masculine. So if I was to find the guy that just so happened, you know what I'm saying, it just connects and that's just what's meant for me. I would really want him to be feminine. I want him to shut the fuck up and cook and clean and do all that type of shit. And I feel like that's cool. Like, okay, it works. We balanced. Is he gay though? If he likes that, maybe he is. She.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he is. She. I wouldn't mind that either.
Really?
If I was with a guy, I would not. I could.
That real quick. So apparently, she wants a man she can push around. That's basically what she said. Okay, I get it. So you don't want anybody to hold you accountable. You don't want nobody to tell you to shut the F up. You want to just tell them to shut the F up, and they just shut up. Okay, all right. Well, good luck with that. I guess I get tired of these clips because it's bad information. Why would you want some effeminate ass man who's just going to let you treat him and talk to him any old damn way? What happens when somebody else who ain't your man start talking to you any old type of way on the street? You think that same effeminate man is going to help you out? No, he's going to let you take that slug to the face. You know why? Because you treated him like shit. So I don't know who her peoples are. Get your girl though. Let her know. She looks like a small, petite, probably really cute, you know. She got a little sweatshirt on. I can tell that she's not fat, right? She's not, out of shape or whatever. She's relatively attractive. Go ahead and put her hair together, man. Get her, you know what I'm saying? She ain't got to put on no mini skirt, but you can get it right. And she can go find her a nice dude. I don't even think she has kids yet. Like, don't mess her head up so early, folks. We got to call this shit out. This is dumb. You don't want no feminine ass man that's going to let you push him around. Now, you might want a dude that's a little, not overly, overly aggressive, right? Of course, you don't want a guy that's just overly aggressive, always yelling and hitting stuff. That's a violent dude. You don't want that. That's not masculinity. We get that twisted up over, the social medias, right? It's always, if it's masculinity, it's got to be violence. That's not necessarily true. The possibility of violence does always exist, though, with masculinity, because there's only so far we can go with talk before it's like, all right, we got to handle this. And so that does get to be a thing. So I don't want this young girl to get hurt. She get in there with the wrong dude who's got no emotional intelligence and whatever that is. And she starts talking to him any old kind of way, and he lashes out and hurts her. She does not look like a big woman. I don't know if she's a taekwondo expert or something like that, but I'm just saying, you get the wrong one, it's going to be a problem. So, IMZ put in there, words of a lesbian in the chat. So so the lesbian would be the effeminate man? Because isn't that what... See, the whole shit is confusing to me. But I'm still going to give you a gong for that. Because it is good words. A lot of people don't want to be... I don't want to use the term under control. Fuck that. You know what? A lot of people don't like to be accountable or held accountable by someone else. That's why they don't like relationships. It's as simple as this. When you're single, you can do a bunch of stuff. There's nobody to call you on it. So you can just be a jerk. You can be this, you can be that, you can be whatever. But when you enter a relationship, and this is for the guys and the women, okay? It's like you're being held to a higher standard. And if your own brain doesn't have those higher standards, now you're going to be like, this person's controlling. What, because they don't want you shaking your ass on the internet? Or because they don't want you, if you're a guy, they don't want you to go over to your female friend's house by yourself at 10 p.m. on a Friday night? You see what I'm saying? They're controlling. No, that's just a dumb idea. And then when you go do something stupid and you go, it just happened. It just happened. No, it didn't just happen. You were being stupid. You put yourself in certain situations. And I'm not talking about somebody who's assaulted. I'm talking about them people that... You see them on the Maury show and all that, and they be like, yeah, I went over there to talk, and it just happened. Yeah, you know what? And they always like, the only reason why I did that is because you're so controlling. Okay. I'm starting to feel a certain type of way about it. I think that we're damning most of our relationships. And by messing up our relationships, our standard, traditional relationships, not to take away from any other relationship, but I can only focus on the standard heterosexual relationship because that's the only relationships I've ever been in. So I can't speak on nothing else. Okay? Good or bad, I can't really speak about it because I ain't never been in that situation where I got another dude and me and him together as a couple. That's never happened to me. So I don't know what it is. But what I do know is this young lady is not formidable physically. And I'm not saying that every woman is a victim if they don't have a man. I'm just saying if she's masculine, that means that she's talking shit when she's on the street. And that will incite the wrong, overly emotional, super soft, ready to punch a woman because he couldn't punch his mother that treated him wrong when he was a kid. That's who she's going to end up having to run into. And then she's going to expect all the other men around to protect her. And somebody might. But somebody might not. And I'm not saying that you have to have a man at all times to not be messed with by men. What I'm saying is if you are boasting about being a masculine woman that talks trash and got an attitude, okay, you might get into it with a dude that's like a masculine woman who talks trash and got an attitude. You see what I'm saying? So be careful out there, ladies. I know, the independent thing and everybody want to do their thing and everybody want to, ain't nobody going to tell me what to do. All right, cool. Y'all can have that life, but it's a very dangerous life. As they say, it's lonely out there. Okay? So this young lady, she said her little piece. It's once again, make sure y'all get them likes up. Special shouts to everybody who did come in the chat. This stream is a little better than the first one that they cut off on us for some reason. But it was probably because I was talking about how they're not sending out the notifications. So they cut the stream, restarted the stream. Well, I restarted the stream. And now all of a sudden I got a few people in here. So there we go. All right. So make sure the likes match the views. Shouts to Frankie Boy in the chat. Shouts to Draco in the chat. I am Z still in the chat. My mods love y'all in the chat over here. Al Bond in the chat. So I give my shout outs in the middle at different times here, okay? So let's go. Let's go into the next story. Because these will frustrate me. Because she seems like she's a very pretty young lady, but she's very dedicated to this, I'm masculine, I'm this. But what happens when some shit really goes down? You're a small woman that I can throw over my shoulder and take you out of a burning building. And you will be that to me. I don't care how masculine you are. If it comes down to it, I'm expected to protect as the actual man. So anyway, let's see what we got here. All right, next story. So this was the first relationship. Then we got two relationship things today. This one's interesting. Okay. This is really interesting. So apparently, let's bring this one up. Hold on a second here. I got y'all. Hold on. Don't be impatient. Don't be scared. Do not be scared. All right, so apparently some woman in Chicago was arrested after a 40-mile police chase, and the internet seems to be upset. Well, I call internet upsetness just people with weird-ass opinions about something that really doesn't add or subtract from the story. It's just something people start talking about and it goes viral and people are trending. So this lady went on a high-speed chase with the police, and people seem to be upset about how nice the police were to her and something about the search. They said the search was illegal or because she's a female. So anyway, they said that they were flirting with this lady. So we're going to see if we think that the officers should be held accountable for being a little inappropriate in this traffic stop.
the
All right,
chase
so
to
first
the
there's a
suburbs. Sky Fox
chase.
captured the chase when it hit the Dan Ryan around 5:45 last night. Police say Ebony Collins was driving the car and was caught after she pulled over on the shoulder of the highway.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and having him or her present, right, while you're being questioned. You cannot afford a high lawyer. Want to be appointed to represent you before the questioning if you wish. You understand those rights? All right. What's wrong with you? What happened? Why'd your back hurt?
You're driving wild. Kind of cool though. What's your name, Ebony? How old are you? You're 27? You look like you're 22. Yeah, you do look young. You don't drive like you're young though. You drive like a fucking race car driver.
You drive stress-free.
She drives, yeah. Grand Theft Auto over here. Done that before, or is this just a first-time skill? Beginner's luck? Yeah, I got that impression. You remember us? We're the initial two officers who tried to pull you over. When you pulled out of Alta. You dating him or something? Okay. So he let you borrow his car? You took it out, you were doing whatever you were doing.
You got some warrants too.
You already got checked, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't think you have any concerns.
No, it's not.
Can you open that up?
Yep.
You're not supposed to check no door.
You can. You check pockets and stuff.
I don't got no phone.
Are you wearing a shirt under here?
No, wait.
Wrong?
It's not no bra. Don't open it. I promise you. No
I
bra.
gotta check I gotta give you a little check over, but I'm not gonna punch you anywhere.
I'm watching him.
No bra.
I'm watching
No,
him. I didn't see him actually. So they said something about he illegally searched her. Hold on, I gotta pause it right there. In the comments, it was saying something about the search. At least in the scene that I just saw, he didn't actually like search. Like I didn't even really see him pat anybody down. I saw her lift her shirt up. He kind of turned her around. I mean, she does have a pretty tight outfit on. So if she does have a weapon on, I hate to say it, you'd probably be able to see it. Like them pants. I'm just saying, it'd be hard to hide something with all that going on in the background. That's all I'm saying. It pushes things out to the limit. So far, I'm not going to say I think the police are being inappropriate. I think they're being really nice about the fact that they just went on a 40-mile police chase. Most times when a guy gets into a chase like that, he's in the middle of the highway. They got the police and blocked the whole highway off. There's some spike strips that got laid down. There's normally he gets beat up because they didn't want to have to chase him in the first place. So they like take him down. I don't think they did all that with her. I mean, I would suffice to believe that her hair was already looking like it did, and she has on her little outfit. No bra, apparently. She's just out there. But, she's definitely supported. She's definitely well supported. So far, I don't see the officers messed up. But you know how it is these days with the damn internet. They want everybody to be upset about something. So I always want to do the research and know what's going on. Okay? So let me finish the clip here.
One second. Oh. You got it? To jail! You pay! Hold on, I'm gonna take everything off.
That's not my own.
No.
We'll just take her straight back. I'll sit in the back with her.
You'll sit in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, hold on. What?
We'll throw her in the car and
Yeah, we'll go back.
Go to back.
right back. We'll be like, listen, Your Honor, we don't even think Ebony did it.
All right, right there is where there's a problem for me. Why does this other officer say he wants to sit in the back with this woman? Now, I don't know if that is, forget it. That's not protocol. It's not. Because you can't even get out the back seat of the car without assistance. So officers are not supposed to sit in the back for any other reason. They're not supposed to get in the back for any other reason other than to like strap in the passenger. They're not supposed to be back there. So the fact that he said, yeah, I'm going to sit in the back with her, I'm like, that did raise an eyebrow. So let's see where this thing goes. Like I said, I haven't seen the clip.
I mean, she did it. But we don't even think she did. You know what I mean? That's usually what we start with because we give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I don't even think you did it. I mean, I know you did.
All right, so what you're hearing right now is the police officers recording within the within the car here, okay? So let's see what he's talking about, because it sounds like he's trying to tell her that she can get off somehow. Let's see what we got. I'm going to back it up just a little bit here so you can hear this, but this is the cop talking. But yeah, right there is where something was funky.
What about?
We'll be like, listen, Your Honor, we don't even think Ebony did it. I mean, she did it, but we don't even think she did. You know what I mean? That's usually what we start with. Because we give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I don't even think you did it. I mean, I know you did it, but I don't.
Did what?
I do TikTok.
What are you doing on TikTok?
First of all, hold on. Hold the phone. How many followers you got?
I have a lot. I do TikTok.
I didn't ask you that. How many? Don't tell me
10,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot. What are you talking about?
You got what?
I do TikTok and I do promo. Like,
Here's the deal. If it's 10,000 on TikTok, whatever, it does. It could be bots, but if they're organic, if they're real people, it's real.
Spyware. I have two words for you. China.
I love China, man. I love TikTok.
It's not for you should go out.
How many on Instagram?
What are you
From Chicago?
Over 5K. What about you on Instagram? How many followers you got on Instagram? How many? You're all bashful. You're all like, I got a lot. And I'm like, how many? You're like,
a lot.
okay, go ahead. You know what?
All right, I'm gonna pause it here. Draco, thank you for stopping back on in the chat over here. Sorry about the other stream. I didn't see the high-speed chase itself or whatever it was. It could have been one of those situations where she just didn't pull right over. But what did interest me earlier in the clip was when they took her to the police car, they had to cross the whole highway, right? Then they had to go over a Jersey wall to get to the car that she was going to get in. So I'm not even sure how she ended up that far away from where the police were. Like, if they were chasing her, you know what I'm saying? They should have been right behind her. It should have been one of those situations. For some reason, she had to go across the thing. So maybe it was just a different car. I don't know. That just seemed a little weird to me. But the video is definitely edited to a degree. But I will say this. There's two officers' voices I'm hearing in this clip. The video that I'm looking at is showing obviously a driver, the driving officer, and that passenger seat is empty. There's nobody sitting there. So that second voice is coming from the back seat, meaning that officer is in the back with this girl at this time. And for some reason, they're talking about how many Instagram followers she has and how many TikTok followers she has. I don't know if they're just trying to make small talk or if it actually means something to them. And this one dude's recommending that she goes and moves to China. I mean, I'm still not even sure what she's going to jail for. Because, I mean, I don't know. We're going to find out in a second. I'm going to let this finish up. There's a lot of confusing things here. I just don't like the fact that cop sat in the back, and that's not whose body cam we're looking at, and we're not looking at the camera from inside the car that's right at the top part where the divider is between the front and the back of the car. There's a camera right there that looks down on the person in the back in case they start acting up. It'll be on camera. Why we're not seeing that footage, that's the part I'm a little iffy about. But so far, like I said, there's a few things I don't like about this, but at this time I haven't seen them inappropriately do anything. It's just, it don't seem right, but it's not inappropriate yet. Let's see.
You ever seen somebody like not answer a question?
It's like something about Instagram.
Yeah. You want to talk about Instagram? Bullshit, why not? Are you bashful? You're not bashful. You didn't seem bashful when you're driving.
You said you didn't seem bashful when you were driving.
So, what else?
See, what are we talking about?
Dating boys and what?
I'm trying to hear it, guys. I can't hear it. I'm sorry.
You're dating kids.
Asking her if she got a boyfriend?
I don't know. If I can make money dating guys, I probably would too. I need to make a fair amount of money. Fair. I can make more than I do now, but. How much do I make? Well, when we factor in that 3.5%, how much is it? What's the total?
Good enough.
Good enough.
Hell yeah.
180,000. Yeah.
All right, well, I've heard enough. Unless there's going to be some other footage from the back of the vehicle. But I see they're having what would be considered casual conversation. But I would say in a general sense, I don't feel like they behaved inappropriately more so than I believe that they behaved unprofessionally. Because I'll be honest, if any person that did not look like this woman or have, you know, the amount of yams available in her background, if it was me, I'm pretty sure they would have tackled the shit out of me. That's all I'm saying. But a lot of these folks in the comments are interesting. Let me go back to the comments over here. I was trying to see the chase itself. Why can't I see that is the interesting part to me. So they're not showing me the chase. They showed like a half a clip of her going between a car, and then it gets to the interaction with her and the police officer. So in the comments, you know, people are heartless. The first person says, well, she's too ugly. What, for the cop? I mean, look, man, let's be real. She's probably not on her way to the club. And you know, a lot hair and makeup does a lot. Let's just say when you get your hair done, put a little bit of makeup on, it does a lot. And he is, see, they, like I said, they're trying to make it seem like these dudes were doing too much, and they might have been doing a little too much. They might have been doing too much. They might have been doing too much. We got here. All right, yeah, they might have been doing too much. Everybody's talking about this cop. They're saying he was just a little bit too damn excited. And like I said, I've never had a police officer that excited and talking to me. They've never been that nice. But I also don't have a rack and yams available for viewing. So I guess that's where that comes from. I'm gonna be real. You can't act like men don't treat women different in the world. I understand the police are supposed to like treat everybody the same, but we always will have more outrage if an officer is physically assaulting a woman than if an officer physically assaults a man. So to some degree, I'd rather see him be overly flirtatious than overly aggressive. It's kind of like if you got to take one, I'll go with this, because with this one, she's not getting hurt. And I mean, but when they start asking about her salary, see, I believe if I'm listening to this right, there was a situation with her boyfriend, and that is apparently whose car it was. And they're running and chasing that car and not so much her. And so she gets pulled over with the car. So I guess my question is, was the car involved in a crime? I don't know. But if so, I don't think it was that bad. I hear people talking about it, and they're like, yeah, this officer needs to be fired because he searched a woman he wasn't supposed to. I didn't see that. So they may have cut it. They may have cut it because it was obviously she was in handcuffs as soon as they went to the shot. So I don't know if they searched her when they took her out the car. I don't know. All I do know is I'd rather have this than this guy getting overly aggressive, pepper spraying, tasing, and beating the crap out this woman over this so-called police chase, which is what normally happens in police chases. So I don't know. You guys will have to make your own inferences on that. But you know what? Let's just be real, guys. It's not illegal to look. It's not. It's not illegal to look, y'all. And the woman has yams, and it's hard to not look at large yams. It is. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to smack them or nothing. But when it's like this, when an eclipse comes, people want to see it. For whatever reason. It might be dangerous to look at it, but they still want to see it. That's how this is. He knows it's dangerous to look at it. That's the stuff that'll get you thinking something. That look on his face is like, you know what? Maybe I picked the wrong job or the right one. And I get it. Like I said, she's not, a lot of people are like, she's too ugly for them to want her. No. I know women that are definitely not as good looking as her, and they swear that they're 10s. So, and everybody be like, go ahead, girl, I love your confidence. So don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all know good and damn well that if this girl did her hair a certain way, put a little makeup on, threw on a nice little outfit or whatever, she'd be ranked up there. Come on now. Let's be real. But he was very unprofessional with it. But she still went to jail. So, but the internet, of course, is very unforgiving. Like the line about, you're 27, you look like you're 22. So what, do you like them young, bro? Like, what are we talking about here? Why did you mention that? What is your goal in that line? Yeah, there you go. Somebody, you see how people are. Somebody said, who knows her? I'm ready to make child support payments. See, this is the problem, guys. This is the problem. Everybody look at him. You see him in there. Everybody talking about they seen that body and forgot about the body cam. So I get it. She's attractive. I don't think that from what I saw, there was anything nefarious that the officers did, but it was very unprofessional. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have the officers be overly flirtatious than overly vicious. That's just the honest truth. All right. Next. All right, let's see what we got. What we at here? So we got that, we got the feds, got this thing. What's this? This is another relationship one? Oh, we got 2 relationship ones. Oh, no, we got I don't know. I'm not ready for another police video just yet. Hold on. I might play that video because that'll give me time to figure out who this guy's hair is. All right, what's this one? This is another relationship one. Let me see what this one is. Oh, no, that's the same one. I already did that one. The same one. There was another one. It's up. Oh, it's over here. Okay. This one was sent to me by my boy on Facebook, Gerald Giddens. Jay Giddens, the father. I give him his shots out there fighting the good fight for the fathers out here. So apparently some woman admits to being evil. Or that admits that women are evil. I don't know. I'm going to let y'all see the clip, but my man sent it over to me, and I wanted y'all to see it. Why doesn't this do full screen? I'm not sure, but who cares? Let's go. All right, so let's bring this one over. So a woman admits to women being evil. So now, not the ladies that are in the chat here in this channel. I know all of you guys are perfect, not evil at all. There's no evil to you. And when you pee, it smells like beautiful roses, flowers, and honeybees. Okay? Well, just the honey, not the bees. You get it. I'm being sarcastic, but you get my point. But this woman is apparently being very honest. This video is going viral right now. And I want to know if y'all think she's telling the truth or if it's cap. And I don't want to hear that, not all women. Look, we get it. There's always exceptions to the rule. But what seems to be the acceptable standard is what the question is. So let's see what she got to say. Play.
Okay, so this is something that I honestly been pondering on actually for a few years now. I remember what the Bible said about women and like the evil spirit, what the Bible says about the Jezebel spirit and, things I see that women do, things I know and heard that women do. The paternity issue, how these women lay next to a man for years, looking a kid in the eyes for years, knowing there's no relation.
That's diabolical. That's
how good men get stomped out, how kids are just used for a check. I've come to the conclusion that I think women are just pure evil. Like, I really think women are just pure evil. Women are naturally evil beings, I believe. And only a woman who's honest about our natural nature of being deceptive can change it. Like, for example, I know that naturally there's a selfish, gimme, 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 I want that type of way about me. So, about people, period, but especially women. So if you can't be honest and say that that's in there, then you can't deal with it and address it. And so
Oh, she cooking.
I've noticed that
She cooking.
the women who say they're the dopest, they're the this, they're the that are usually the worst because you have to acknowledge the beast in you in order to tame it. And so I really just think most women are natural evil, period.
All right. Now, I know this woman is probably getting a lot of flack for this. And let me just put in my piece, and I'm going to let her finish up. She's got about 40 seconds left here, right? I don't believe that, you know what? No, let's forget that. I do believe that people are like inherently evil. Well, not inherently, but they have an internal evil available to them. That's the whole point of free will. And since we're celebrating the resurrection of Jesus this weekend, maybe we should talk about that. Everybody has that demon up in them. The problem is some people believe that the demon is the good thing because it empowers them. That's why they like chaos. They're like, if I control the chaos, if I create chaos, now I'm in control because I created the chaos, so I'm the controller of the chaos. So they'll create chaos just to remain in control. It's a very twisted way of thinking, but that is true and that does happen. Now, I don't believe that all women are just inherently evil. I believe that there has been, over time, an eroding of morals, values, and accountability. And because of that, it has allowed people to go into spaces to which they're not accountable for their own actions, and then they're bailed out for poor decisions. Even a guy coming along into a woman's life that has 2 or 3 kids by 2 or 3 other people, right? And he comes in and starts, taking care of the kids as if he's their biological father. He's taking care of the young lady. He's taking care of himself. Let's say he got some kids, he's taking care of them too. And this guy comes in, he's taking care of all of this because that's how a man would be. But it's removing the accountability from the person that made the decision of having all these kids and not having no fathers to help and contribute to those children. So it's like you can't be held accountable for it because somebody's bailing you out. So you're not going to feel the real strain of it because somebody's bailing you out. So that, to me, that bailout piece is where we're running into the problem. Guys, we got to be smart. Or move out to the, places where there's just not a whole bunch of ratchetness going on. Because right now, yes, everybody wants to check. And, for a lot of young ladies, they're not going to sell box per se. But they do know that if their box gets a present in it and they deliver said present, that they will get money if the guy that they chose to box with is, if he's got it. Because you could get some broke dude, and then all you're going to get is just him locked up for years, and you're never going to get nothing. So you get a guy like that, you're not going to, there's no check in that. So you got to be more careful. If you're trying to get with a guy for a check, you got to do like the people do with Elon. That's why Elon got all them kids. All them kids getting a check. Basketball players, those guys. But the regular dude that's not even making more than you, ladies, you're not going to get a lot for that. And if he doesn't pay it, then they'll put him in jail, and then you're not going to get shit. And they'll just hold a bill over his head for years, but you'll never get that money. So it's not even really worth it, to be honest. But let me let this lady finish up. But like I said, I think it's an accountability issue. If we would be more accountable for our own actions and the consequences of those actions, and we stop bailing people out for bad decisions, like we stop bailing them out. And I'm talking about men. I'm being honest, guys. We bail people out all the time. Have them thinking that they're a damn princess, and really we're just nice guys and don't want to see you struggle like that. But then all of a sudden you get a nice guy and you're like, oh, well, I guess I can just have every man. No, you can't. You can have a nice guy who will put your past in hindsight and would allow you to kind of utilize him as a utility to take care of yourself and your kid. That's who you're looking for, is a nice guy. You're not looking for the person that would hold you to a high standard and accountability. You don't want him. You want the nice guy who's going to look past that. So just be honest, ladies. Stop looking for that other dude because he ain't going to take that shit. That's why you can't get him. You get the nice guy who you can simp out. And nice guys, you got to be better at not being simped out. Like, draw your lines somewhere. There's nothing wrong with taking care of people, but just don't get used. Because if not, I mean, it's on you. I'm just saying.
I just think they're evil.
She thinks women are
and
evil.
Not
and
even just how they deal with men and kids makes them evil, but how they deal with each other. Women are so jealous, deceptive, conniving. Like, you can just feel the evil when you are in the presence of certain women. You can walk in a room and you just feel the daggers. You just feel that demonic spirit. Women are evil. I don't care what nobody say. Women are untrustworthy, deceitful, demonic beings. I said what I said.
All right. Well, she said it, guys. She is under the impression or the belief that women are deceitful beings by nature. And this is a woman saying it. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, she's only speaking from her experience because that's how she is. No. We see the stories all the time. We see the stories all the time. There would be no stereotype if there was no type to be in stereo. You understand what I'm saying? So let's be real here. This woman represents women, and she represents at least 1 million women who have come to the same realization that she's had. And a lot of those women, out of that million I'm talking about, are working on self-improving, because you don't want to look at yourself and be like, why did I do that? Why am I so evil? Why am I so okay with evil? Why am I so okay with chaos and sabotage and beef and gossip? Why am I okay with negative more so than positive? Why not live the dream? You know, why not live the soft life, as they call it? The kept life for so it just seems like, look, I'm gonna be real. As a guy, I don't have that as an option. If I was to be with a woman who made a whole bunch of money, I would still have to do something because I'm a man. So I can't just be like a trophy husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm just around, just existing for the sake of looking good in pictures and stuff like that. Women have that flexibility. They do. But some of them take it and use it for evil purposes. Some people, like when you do this whole thing, and this is why I got to give a special shout to Jay Giddens, the father, man, because he is out there fighting the good fight, trying to see his kids, and he's working against things like parental alienation, which I got some experience with that. He's working against court systems that are already biased towards certain genders. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tough fight for a father out there, especially if the ex-wife or baby mama or whoever, if they don't get along, like they're not cool, you just signing up for 18 to 20 plus years of fighting. May end up fighting even longer when the grandkids come around and y'all can't even be around each other, because anybody that does you wrong for like 10 years straight, you never really forgive that. So let's say that the parents come together after the kid is grown, but during the time when the child was small, there was this beef and they weren't allowed to see their kids and all that. They're never going to get along again, because the product that they end up with is going to be a product of what happened then, and it'll be a constant reminder of what happened. So no, I will never forgive for that. If you keep somebody's kid from them for like 10 years or so, nah, you don't get no if it was just on some BS, it's because you want to be like that. That is evil. And I've seen women do this. So I understand what this lady's saying. I'm not saying that every woman is evil like she's saying. I believe that the evil exists within. And you can decide whether or not to use the evil, to be evil, or just identify it and keep improving on yourself so that you don't emotionally respond and tap into the evil demon. Because that's what I think happens. It exists. That's the whole free will. That's all of that. But I'm going to be real. There's some diabolical women out here. They got their priorities all messed up. You can't tell them nothing. And it's not just men can't tell them nothing. Like, even grown women that have a much better life than them can't even tell them nothing. They don't want to hear accountability. They don't want to hear, stop keeping that kid from his father. You see what I'm saying? Maybe he would act better if you stopped doing that. They don't want to hear stuff like that. And if they do, they become vindictive against the other woman that's saying it to them. So I've said this a lot. Women don't generally like each other. Like, you see them go on them girls' trips. There'll be 7 of them on the trip. 5 of them don't like 2 of them. But the 2 had more money than the other 5, and they needed that to get the suite they were trying to get, so they're going to tolerate that. But then they get to the suite, and they beef the whole week because they never liked each other in the first place. Women don't generally like each other. It just is what it is. And it's not something that men did. I don't know what it is about y'all, but y'all just generally don't like each other. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for y'all to, no, I'm sorry. It takes a little for y'all to get together, but it takes a lot for y'all to stay together. You see what I'm saying? A woman and another woman, it could just be you said the wrong thing on a Tuesday, and they'll cut you off for 10 years. So that's not real friendship. That's like associates, people that benefit. You know, what do they call it? A codependent? You guys are codependent on each other for certain things, but I don't really like each other. And so this lady coming out and saying this, it would be tough to like people if you knew that they were evil. Like, if I thought that all men were evil, I probably wouldn't like to talk to men, deal with men, have any male friends, because I would believe that they're all evil. So that starts to make sense to me, that the reason why, in a general sense, a lot of women don't get along with each other is because internally they feel similar to this woman. And so they don't trust each other. They don't trust you around their man. They don't trust you on Facebook or in DMs. They don't trust each other. And it's a constant competition. And it's not a competition that was started by men. I don't even know if it's for men. I don't even understand what it's about. But I just know that in general, women just don't like each other. And men, we got lines. I'm only going to argue with you so long before that's the end of the argument and it's just over with and I'm walking this way, you going that way, or we fighting. These are the 2 options. And I would prefer the first option because nobody has to get hurt or go to jail if we just say, you know what, we're going to agree to disagree. You got your opinion, I got mine. I'm going to go this way, you go that way. That's what we want. A lot of women do not do that. And honestly, chick fights are a little less violent, in my opinion, in most cases. I've seen some rough ones, though. Some of these women can fight. But a lot of them, it's more like I'm just waiting for the, for the titty to pop out and, and somebody to come over and stop it, Sherry, stop. Let go of her hair. Let go. That's normally how the women fights end. So, nonetheless, we're gonna come away from this lady, but I appreciate her putting herself out there. I don't know who she is, but shouts to Rap House TV for putting up the clip. Shouts to my man Jay Giddens, the father, on Facebook, sending me over the clip because he wanted to hear our opinions on that. And I'm serious. I noticed that ain't no women say nothing after that. So I am inclined to believe that women might agree with her. And that's why they don't generally like each other. Because how can you like a bunch of people that you think are evil? Like, you'll tolerate them. Similar to, like, if you know somebody's kind of a narcissist, it's like, yeah, I can mess with you at a distance, like a far distance, but you don't get to come all the way in, right? I think that's how women are. So the relationships are surface. They come and go. Every 10 years or so, you hear from somebody in high school that you weren't even really cool with in high school, but they done burned through all their adult friends, so now they're on Facebook finding people that was sort of in the middle when they were in high school. Now you're getting a friend request or posts from people you haven't heard from. Women. I'm talking about women versus women. I've seen this happen all the time. It'd be a chick you ain't talked to in hella years, and y'all weren't even that cool. Like, you just happened to go to the same school together, right? Now all of a sudden they all in your DMs and trying to start a conversation, trying to be buddy with you 20-something years outside of high school. You know why? Because they burned all of their bridges for the last 20-something years, and now they're going back to try to find people that don't know about the goofy stuff that they've done to themselves or others over the past 20 years. So that's why you get those random friend requests that come along with conversations. See, normally if it's just somebody that you was real cool with, you'll get the request. They'll say, hey, how you been? Oh, it's been cool. I got kids now, blah, blah, blah. Just a general conversation. And that's like the last time you're going to talk to them other than liking their pictures on Facebook. But when they start to hit you up all the time, girl, we need to get together, da-da-da-da-da, and they don't even live in the same state as you. Like, now you planning the whole trip. And I haven't seen you in 25 years. Why does nobody else talk to you like you got all this time to talk to me? Why is no one else talking to you? So I've seen this. I'm telling you, a lot of women see this, and a lot of women are smart enough to see through it. That's why they don't have, the ones that know only have like 2 or 3 friends. 2 or 3 people that they would call friends. That's it, and that's all. And most guys are like that. If you got more than 5, then one of them after the 5 ain't really a friend. It's just an associate that's been around for a long time. But true friends, that's the people you call when you in trouble. You only get a couple of those. If you get more than 5, I'm not even going to say you're lucky. If you get more than 5, then somebody ain't real. You got a Judas in that group. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, let me take this nice young lady off the screen. All right, let me see. Where was I at here? I am here, right? Yes, I am here. Okay. Make sure I don't have anything left on the stories. Got that. We did butt plugs. We did this guy's hair. I still got to figure out who this guy is with the hair, man. It is too much. Oh, we got to do politics. I forgot politics. All right. All right, we'll do politics. What's my timing look like? Jesus.
In another controversial...
All right, so we're going to do our politics segment. This is just a really quick segment here regarding everybody's been talking about the military being asked to deal with the deportation effort of illegal migrants here in the U.S. And so because I hadn't done my political segment yet, this is our political segment for the day regarding Trump threatening to send the homegrown prisoners over to the El Salvadorian prison. Now, I'm not going to go into this thing with this Orega guy because it doesn't make sense to me that there's people on both sides of an issue that should have straightforward information provided to allow us to make a decision on what's true and what's not. Either this guy was cool being here and it was an accident, he got deported, or he was supposed to be deported and they just happened to deport him. I don't know. Now they're talking about due process and all this other stuff, but I thought he had already gone through a process. So I don't know. So I'm going to stay away from that story. I don't like that story. I don't like that story. I don't like that Carmelo Anthony story either. I don't like none of that shit. It's intended to divide. That's what it is. But I think the division comes from the fact that different people have different information. If I'm under the impression that a person was not supposed to be deported because they had legal status, this and blah, 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 and I got the paperwork in front of me, then I'm going to feel how you should feel having that information. If I have the information that says the opposite, then I'm going to feel how you should feel having the opposite information. So that's what's causing the division, is the information is not consistent. It isn't. You go to CNBC, you go to MSNBC, you go to ABC, you go to Fox News, the information isn't consistent. And then when it's too consistent, then that's wrong. So when they form a narrative and everybody has it, then it's like, why are they all agreeing? So in this one, the White House has given the military, the U.S. military, or given the president the option of utilizing the military to deal with a particular strip of land that goes between, like at the U.S.-Mexico border. I think it's in Arizona. So we're going to go through the story real quick because everybody's now talking about martial law. And, martial law is supposed to be, what, tomorrow? Isn't that tomorrow? You see what I'm saying? So martial law is supposed to be tomorrow. Remember Liberation Day a couple weeks ago? Anybody got liberated since then? No? Okay. There have been some bombs. Somebody got bombed. Ukraine and Russia are no longer thinking about peace. And the U.S. is like, all right, cool. Just trying to think of things that, like, they've been pumping this up was going to happen, and then it just doesn't happen, and they just move on to the next thing like it's nothing. Like the tariff thing was huge. Only thing it changed was the stock market for a day. And then now a bunch of people on Chinese TikTok talking trash about America and how stupid we are for buying the stuff that they're doing slave labor to create, which I have to agree is kind of stupid. But we all know that shit ain't worth what we pay for it. So you can't be mad when China's like, hey, you know this ain't worth what you pay for it. Be like, yeah, we've been known that. We've been known we're stupid the way that we consume. Okay? So anyway, let's do our political segment because I got to get out of here. I got shit to do on a Saturday. And thank you guys for coming in. I know it's been a really tough one on the algorithm today, but that's all good. Not even worried about it.
Tactic to curb immigration. President Trump has announced plans to give the U.S. military...
All right, so let me bring it over. So Trump has announced the plans to let the U.S. military patrol a particular part of the border alongside of Homeland Security and Border Patrol. All right, let's check the clip. So this is the clip.
Another controversial tactic to curb immigration. President Trump has announced plans to give the U.S. military control of hundreds of miles of the southern border. The plan establishes a 60-foot wide buffer zone at the border, stretching from California to New Mexico. That land would now be considered a military base, allowing U.S. forces to apprehend any migrants there and turn them over to...
And shoot the shit out of them. You can't run up on no military base. I noticed he left that out. If you make that space a military base and somebody crosses over into that, they can shoot the shit out of you. Excuse my language. They could fire a projectile that could maim you or harm you or unalive you. Okay, YouTube?
To immigration agents. So for more on this, let's bring in senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez. Louis, the logistics of this, apart from anything else, seem complicated and resource intensive. What more can you tell us about this plan?
No, that's right, James. Right now, the United States has about 10,000 troops along the border on the southwest border mission with Mexico. What they are talking about is establishing temporarily, at least initially, a swath of area east of Fort Huachuca, which is southeast of Tucson, Arizona, that stretches all the way across New Mexico into El Paso. But it's only going to be on public lands, James, and that not private lands and not on Native American Indian reservations. Instead, it's just going to be on those public lands, and what it's going to be is very resource heavy, as you said, because essentially any construction, any kind of patrolling that takes place there is going to be essentially the idea that this is a military base. There will be signs on both sides of the border of that 60-foot wide area in Spanish and in English saying any trespassers will be detained. And essentially that is the concept here, that you will use U.S. military personnel to detain any trespassers. But logistically speaking, it's going to be a big effort, and it's unclear exactly how this is going to play out. I understand that signs have been purchased by the U.S. Army and that concertina wire is going to be laid out along that stretch all the way through New Mexico. But we expect that the Interior Department today is going to authorize that transfer of that property, that public property, to the Defense Department so it can establish this new military base.
I feel like we're asking this question a lot at the moment, but is this even legal? Does the law prevent the military from being used as a domestic police force in this country?
There is the law, Posse Comitatus, which was established after the Civil War, that prevents the U.S. military from being used for law enforcement purposes. But there's also something called the Insurrection Act, which can be invoked, which allows U.S. military personnel, to be used for law enforcement under emergency situations. That is not what's happening here. What is happening here, as some critics say, is an end around those two laws, and essentially it's a novel way of using verbiage to essentially say that you can transfer federal land from one department to another.
You can.
And therefore that military personnel would do whatever they would do at any military base, which is protect their own base and from any trespassing. And they'll detain somebody, and just as they would at any military base, they will then turn them over to law enforcement, which in this case would be CBP. But again, I think there might probably be some legal challenges to this, James, just as you pointed out, because some questions are being raised about the legality of this and whether it is really an end around those two laws. Or it could be, as the administration is saying, is just this is what we're doing because this is an emergency and we are dealing with a crisis at the border.
Okay. All right. Let me just give me a minute here. Let me process. And I'm gonna get this right. So it sounds like they're creating what would be considered like a military moat. Anybody that doesn't know what a moat is, that's like when they put the alligators and stuff around the castle and you got to get across the water in order to get to the castle. They're going to create a military moat. But don't let them keep playing with y'all with this verbiage. You do not illegally step onto a military base and you cannot be dealt with deadly force. I'm gonna be honest. If I went running onto a military base, like if I went right past the gate and just took off running past the gate, and the guys at the gate who are armed for a reason, oh yeah, they might come jump in the car, but let me keep running. They will shoot me in the ass. So that's what's gonna happen to those who try to cross in this area. I'm not trying to hear that they're gonna be on some tackling people and handcuffing them. No, they're gonna be shooting them. Because that's what happens if you cross onto a military base. So what they did is they took the border, and then said, all right, we're gonna take 60 feet behind it in the US direction, 60 feet of the border, and make that whole stretch for hundreds of miles a military base, or considered a military base, meaning it falls under military base rules. So what that also means is now we're gonna have the military stationed on this strip. You see what I'm saying? 60 foot. That's not even that much. 60 feet is not that far, but if you stretch that for a few hundred miles, that's a lot of space. But it's not a lot of space back. So you only got 60 feet. So I guess if you make it 60 feet through, then maybe they can't shoot you. But tell them about the gun line, boss. If you come up across that, and you hit that military moat, anybody that's seen, I want to say it was Bad Boys 2, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Gabrielle Union, and they get to the end of the thing, and they're coming across, and they get to, I want to say it was Guantanamo or something, and they started shooting at them as soon as they started driving up. Then there was mines right there. So you know what they can do with that same space? They can pull people back to the 60-foot line and line the bitch with mines. You come walking across there if you want to. Now, I will say this. People are divided on different sides about the immigration issue. I'm going to tell you where I'm at on the immigration issue. I believe if you're not supposed to be here legally, then you should either go through a process of becoming legal, or you should go back and do the process from home, and then when you're ready, you can come back. Whatever. I don't think that we should just let things happen. But I do think issuing the military at this point is, I think it's an ineffective use of resources, personally. Okay? Because what are they really going to do? They're going to end up shooting people. And then we're going to have to be sympathetic to that. And then that's going to be a news story like this Orega dude, you know? And I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. You know what? They got a job to do. They got to deport some people. Go ahead and deport them. They haven't come and got nobody in my family at all. There's no questions there. Meanwhile, I still got to work. I still got to make sure. I'm not just saying me. I'm talking about people like in America. Still got to work. Still got to make sure our families are taken care of. So you know what? At the end of the day, y'all go take care of the border however the hell y'all see fit. As long as I don't have to come down there and you're not taking my family over there. I just got to step back on this because I'm tired of the border conversation. I'm tired of it. If you watch this show and you're not legal, go get whatever paperwork you need. Like, just go get it done. I heard that some people are afraid to go ask for the paperwork because it's like putting up a flag or flare that they're illegal. I get it. But you know what? You still got to do what you got to do. And I don't have much more time on my news cycle to keep dealing with the damn border. You know why? Because while they're dealing with the border, they have pretty much stagnated everything other than shooting missiles somewhere. Everybody is suing everybody. The federal government is suing Maine. Maine suing the federal government. Letitia James is getting sued. Letitia James is suing somebody else. Somebody's suing the Trump administration for the Orega thing, saying he didn't get due process. Just suing. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like the first damn Trump term, where it was just a whole bunch of court shit that at the end all got dropped. Nobody went to jail. Nothing happened. Keep telling us about fraud. Why has nobody been brought up on charges? Meanwhile, we got charges on Maine because they want to keep letting gentlemen play in women's sports, which is its own issue. But I'm just saying, why we got time to do that? And you telling me about millions of dollars in fraud? You ain't got that. Not one person can be brought up on charges yet, Elon? One? Just one? Pam? Just give me one. You just keep giving me the smoke screen. Oh, we found fraud. Well, where is it? Prices haven't really changed. They didn't send me a letter saying, hey, you don't owe taxes this year. So you're just telling me a bunch of goofiness. I don't want to hear that shit no more. I'm tired of it. Either cut the check or cut the crap. One or the other. And we all know it. Pepsi Warren, thanks for stopping in the chat as well. We all know that a lot of this stuff that we're seeing is really just the distraction from what's actually going on. Like, I'm sure a few of y'all didn't know that the U.S. was just shooting rockets and killed like 60 people the other day in Yemen. Did you hear about that? Talk about some oil reserves that they had to take out because we don't want them to have oil. Or whatever it was. It was something along the lines of we don't want them to have the ability to use their own resources that they have over there. So we're going to just bomb it because we're worried that if they have these resources, eventually they'll build them up and attack us. Okay. You know what? Let me tell you how that smells. Let me tell you why. If I bomb you, now we beefing. So if we weren't beefing before, we are definitely beefing now. Did anybody protest that? Did anybody get word, hey, we're getting ready to go bomb the Houthis or whoever the hell, right? Did anybody sign off on that in the American public? No. We're worrying about some guy from Maryland that had a weird tattoo on his hand, and everybody's trying to convince us this dude is MS-13 or not. You know what? I don't even care no more. Either show me he is or show me he ain't. But if he ain't here and the dude in El Salvador ain't really trying to send him back, then you know what? If he's in jail, then he's in there jail for a reason. You see what I'm saying? Even if he got shipped off by accident and they were like, oh, my bad, then he could just be released from jail and either come back or whatever. So there's more to that story. I'm not trying to hear it no more. Keep telling me he was an innocent man and a loving father. Well, then why the hell they ain't come for me? Because I fit that description if that's what they're deporting. Exactly. Fuck out of here. But they got us over here fighting over some dude that don't even know y'all. Got us arguing over the border. I don't care about the border. I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't care about it in the sense of I want any of our military personnel to be losing their life down there, trying to keep people from coming across the border. We have a whole different organization that's supposed to be dealing with the border. So maybe we should beef that up more. Do some more hiring on that, maybe fund it a little bit, whatever you got to do. But I just don't think that the U.S. military dealing with it is a good idea. Because U.S. military is designed to defend, not chase people down and put handcuffs on them. That's not what the U.S. military does. We got snipers, we got drones, we got helicopters, planes, fighter jets, all types of shit. Border Patrol don't have all that. Their job is to put people in handcuffs. The U.S. military is going to put people in body bags if they don't act right. And it's not going to be their fault, but we're going to be over here crying about it. So if you didn't protest them putting the military down there, if you didn't protest them shooting rockets over at Yemen, if you didn't protest the fact that they're now just going to move all the people out of Gaza and start Trump Plaza Gaza, which I have tried to trademark, by the way. So if y'all hear it, y'all let me know because I want my money. But if we're going to just act like that, then let's just act like that. Let's have all of that all around. Let's have all of this. I'm not going to say hatred. Let's have all this energy all around. All of us, people of the melanin, we're more concerned with one guy who's not even necessarily like your people's. One guy whose story you don't really know. And unless you're going to file a FOIA request, you really won't know. Because the mainstream media is on two totally different sides of the argument, and I just don't get it. It's the same thing with Doge. It's the same thing with all of it. It's like, all right, either it is or it isn't. But the argument is continued too long for things that we should have receipts for things that we should easily be able to prove or disprove as myth or fact. So for whatever reason, they keep us just arguing over the two sides of an argument that really doesn't have much to do with us. I hate to say it that way. It don't have a lot to do with us. I'm not taking away from the fact that that guy might have a family in Maryland, and everybody knows I love Maryland, love Baltimore, love Maryland, all my Maryland folks. Special shouts to y'all. But I'm going to be real. Let Maryland deal with that. If y'all that pissed off about it, then y'all deal with it. Y'all get Westmore and whoever the hell, and Brandon Johnson or whatever his name is. Brandon, what? You know what I'm talking about, the guy with the nice afro. That guy, you get all of them to go stage a protest and go down there and do all that kind of stuff, man. But the rest of us are still struggling to make it from check to check. The rest of us are still trying to figure out why our kids are graduating with a 30% college readiness rate nationwide. My kid's graduation is not affected by the border. I hate to say it, it's not. It is affected by how the federal funding is moving around between colleges and other programs that come after high school. I'm focused on that. The media is not. The media wants me to be focused on this dude from Maryland. They want to be us to be focused on Purple Groovy said it in the chat, on random space missions on penis-shaped rockets with Katy Perry and, you know, all the fanfare and Jeff Bezos and in the background they were bombing Yemen at the same time and killed a bunch of people. And I bet you didn't get that story. Bunch of people talking about, oh, they were just soldiers. No, it was they hit a university, like a college. So we're talking about mass shootings over here. Let's talk about mass bombings. Some of that stuff in previous years would have been considered war crimes. And we don't even care. Just like with the Palestine thing. I don't like to talk a lot about it, but nobody really cared. And they've been protesting, and if you protest against Israel, you get locked up in America. It's a whole debacle. Meanwhile, they're taking over land. They're deciding on who's going to make what when it comes to tariffs. They're making deals behind closed doors, and you and I just have to deal with the fallout. So I'm going to say this. I don't want my military to have to police hundreds of miles of the border. But legally, the president can do that if he declares this thing an emergency. And if enough people think it's an emergency, there you go. You'll be signing up to go kick people back over the fence if you decide to go to the border. So it's a lot to it, and it's really bothering me because I've been trying to get everybody to just calm the hell down about stuff. I didn't get my invite to the damn protest this weekend again. I told y'all, why don't I get an invite? Why don't I get invited to these protests? Anybody tell me why? I got thousands of people on my different forums between Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even X. I don't have a lot of people on X, but if you want to follow me on X, that's Papa Purge on X. So make sure you go ahead and follow me over there, because I can do more stuff on that than you can on YouTube. YouTube shuts a lot of my stuff down. I can't be very graphic when it comes to certain speech. You can't say certain things. It's very limiting, very bordered in. No pun intended. But if you want to check us out, or at least check me out as an individual on X, that's Papa Purge on X. But let me just get this out of my system, and I'm going to close this out because there's only a few people left. And make sure y'all hit that like button while you're in here, because I do appreciate y'all coming through. I know this algorithm has not been really nice to us. But what I'm seeing is, it's like before, things used to be kind of like nuanced. Things were like kind of finessed. It was a little more smooth. It felt better. It made you feel good. Kind of like people felt during the election times. They were feeling good. There was a lot of energy. And then all of a sudden, you just become a freaking passenger on the American freight train that's riding across the world and just dropping off and picking up passengers wherever it feels like. They get to do what they want. And it's funny because we can't even have real conversations about it because the real stories that we should be covering, like the stuff that's going on with our kids in school, we can't talk about that. That's how I got the stream cut off earlier, was talking about education. But see, if I talk about Trump or I do something like that, oh, they love it. Now they want to push the stream out. But the second I want to have a conversation about educating our children and helping them deal with conflict resolution and things like that, they don't push that content because they don't want them to resolve conflict in any other way than how they've been, which is violence. Violence begat violence every time. And they want us to continue to be violent with each other. So it's like you got to pick a side. You can't just be objective and pick the side of information, which is what I like to pick. The polarized narratives force us to be at odds with each other. Even if in a general sense, we kind of agree with each other about a lot of things. They'll take an issue that can be polarizing, force it up into your face, pause, and then now you got to live with it. Meanwhile, they move on to the next thing. They move right on, man. They don't even care. The news cycle moves on so fast. Meanwhile, we're sitting here arguing with each other. We're sitting here arguing with our families and not moving forward at all. I mean, think about it. When was the last time that you were able to just have real conversation with a person who was on an opposite side of an argument and you were able to actually present facts and they were like, hey, I didn't know that. I see what you're saying, and they were able to change their opinion. You don't get to do that no more. Like if a person thinks that guys are supposed to be in women's sports, then there's nothing you can tell them to make them think that guys aren't supposed to be in women's sports. And that's the part that's like, you can't even make your debate because nobody's listening no more. They divided us up. Now we stuck on opposite sides. We don't know what the hell to do. And meanwhile, they never ask you about, hey, can we send your kid who's in the military to the border to go deal with what the Border Patrol is supposed to be dealing with? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And we can't talk about conspiracy theories. We can't talk about anything anymore. It's like when it comes to mainstream, it's either you're with us or against us. That's how Trump operates. If you're not loyal to his thing, then you're against his thing. But I could just not like what you're doing. It doesn't mean I'm against it. I just don't necessarily, I'm against it means I'm going to put in an effort to stop you from doing it. When you're against something, that's what that means. Opposed to is different, or you do not agree with is different. But when you say you're against something, that means you are against it. You are pushing back on it. This thing that you're against, you're pushing back on it. So if you're against this dude being sent to El Salvador, then take your ass to El Salvador and go get his ass back, since he wasn't supposed to be deported in the first place. If not, shut up. See what I'm saying? Let them deal with it. Let his family deal with it. Matter of fact, you want to start a GoFundMe like they did for Carmelo? Do that then. But shut up about it. That's all I'm saying, man. Because that whole with us or against us thing is a lie. And it's sold to us by those who benefit from our division. That's the problem. They benefit from this. They benefit from us not paying attention to what's really going on and just paying attention to these little seeds they're throwing at us, these little poppy seeds they're throwing at us. And we're over here gobbling the shit up while they're doing something totally different on the other side. And I don't care if you're MAGA or if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat or whatever it is. At the end of the day, the United States is a capitalistic society. So before race becomes an issue, capital does. Money does. So stop putting out these false narratives about people. Let the truth shine through and let us make decisions based on true information. Do not spin me. Do not tell me that somebody is or is not something that they are or are not if that's not true, because you want me to be on your side. Because then I get on your side, I find out that shit's untrue, now I don't believe anything you say. And that's what's happened. It's like you can't believe anything anymore. And so these social media platforms that are benefiting from the outrage, it's like they have no accountability to give you real information. How many times you open up any of your feeds? Pick one. Reddit, Facebook, pick one. There will be some false ass information on there. And they'll have some screenshots and everything, have you thinking something really happened. I remember when they said Trump was shutting off child support or something like that. Remember that? Went viral. I still got to pay child support. So that didn't happen. So the point I'm trying to make is, like I said, it takes me back to the first Trump administration. I was saying this shit then when they were talking about the court cases. Over and over and over again, he kept talking about he was going to get impeached, it was going to be this, it was going to be that. Not only did he not get kicked out of his office, he came back and won again. So why did y'all waste my 3 years talking about that shit? Because it kept me away from seeing what was really going on. And I wasn't the only one. I got frustrated of it at that time. And it wasn't because of Trump. I didn't like Trump. You see what I'm saying? It was, I don't like y'all using up the time of my news cycle with the same BS every day, and then it never even happens. You wasted 3 years of my life with that crap. And I swore that they was right, but then I told people, I said, no, it wouldn't take this long. And then at the end, we saw what happened. So just letting y'all know right now, our technology is against us. If you haven't checked it out yet, you should check out the show Black Mirror. It's a Netflix show. My daughter told me about that when I started watching it. It's a little trippy, but it definitely touches on some very interesting points about how easily the human mind can be tricked into doing some nefarious crap, basically. And I think that, you know, what we have to do is just be honest with ourselves. We can't fix everything overnight. We can't. But we can fix it if we're at least working on the fix. Nobody's working on the fix right now. Meanwhile, right now, there is a whole damn protest going on right now. And what's it fixing? What's it fixing? So let me go ahead and bring it back in, give out my shout outs. Draco, you got it, man. Draco, I always appreciate you coming into the chat and stuff like that, because that is a great question. Draco put in the chat, now that the election is over, how can we make more money and live better? Let me tell you what, there's only one way to do that, Draco. Together. And so if we're not together, we can't do those things, because we're combating with each other. So if we're fighting with each other, we don't have the time to even focus on making more money or being better people, because we're trying to defend ourselves on points that somebody else gave us. A lot of us, not everybody, but a lot of us. All right. So I'm just going to give you all a couple of really quick stats. Apparently, only 20% of Americans trust the government. Okay. Well, trust the government most of the time. If you know, that's like the whole world. Nobody really trusts the government. So we need to first stand on that. I don't trust nothing y'all say. And then I don't trust the first line of defense that people go through where they try to interpret these things incorrectly. They had us thinking the child support was going to get cut off. They had us thinking that I was going to walk into an office building, there was going to be colored water fountains and colored bathrooms. Where's it at, guys? It's not there. But we spent all that time arguing about it. This Carmelo Anthony thing they threw out there, oh, it's another BLM, and he got $400,000, and he got a new car and a new house. Well, let me just tell you what. When they said that, was 2 days after this thing started. You can't even buy a house in 2 days. You got to go through a whole process of getting cleared. You got to get the closing costs. You got to do an inspection. This does not happen in a week. So how you going to tell me this guy just went into a huge mansion and got a new Escalade and all this other stuff? You know what? That turned out to be crap. Total crap. And we were standing on it. See, this is why I don't like giving to nobody, because they do stuff like this. Well, maybe we shouldn't be giving to these causes that are just out here only because of black and white. We didn't require them to do anything with it other than feed themselves or spoil themselves. So when you give them $400,000, they don't have to give it back to a community organization. They don't have to invest in local business or anything. They just splurge. So that's why it was so easy to believe the story. because we know that we don't hold accountability to anybody. We just throw things out there. And if you want to throw a super chat out there, I'd appreciate it. And you can always hit the Cash App. I'll be honest with you, I like the Cash Apps better because YouTube doesn't take any money from that. YouTube takes money from everything you do on YouTube. If you even if you're just getting watch time and AdSense, they take their cut and then you get the rest. So if you're feeling so froggy and you're feeling inclined, you know, you hit that $ Freeman Services, and that's Freeman SVCS. That's the Cash App. I thought it was on the screen, but I just realized it's not. So what has happened now is what I consider the erosion of true democracy. True democracy involves debate. It involves legal process, due process. It involves information being presented, people being able to look at it and come up with a conclusion based on fact and information. And they've kept that from us and just given us feelings. You feel bad. Oh my God, this guy got deported. Oh my God, his family. I don't even know this dude. Meanwhile, my homeboy is struggling, trying to see his own kids. And he's a citizen. We don't care about that shit, though. At all. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's just, I get so tired of, maybe it's to some degree, it's a small bit of envy that I wish I could direct energy the way that these people do, but just direct it towards better narratives and better ideas and better concepts. But yes, I do have a certain level of envy to that. Like, yo, I can't get people to get on this, but it's nothing to get them on that. And I think it's caused a literal mental health crisis where even when you're presented with actual factual information, you can't even take it. You can't even digest it because you've been told you're on this side. And I don't care what they say on that side. It's this side. You're on this side. And you stay on this side. And if you move on that side, then now you ain't nothing. Now we're going to talk trash about you because you may have found information and now you want to be on the blue side versus the red side or the red side versus the blue side. And at the end of the day, we all still here. Standing around outside singing freaking hymnals while these folks are writing up war plans and tariff plans on your dime. Talking about moving manufacturing back here, but they're not moving manufacturing back here. They're moving AI back here. And they're not screaming it from the rooftops, hey, everybody in America, you want these jobs that are going to come back? Learn AI. Learn how to conceptualize and manage machine learning. That's what they should be pushing right now. Nope, they're not pushing that shit. They're not even mentioning it. Why? Because there's going to be a set few people that have it. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to have a bunch of people that live here that ain't from here working these jobs. Same way you call, now you get Indonesia on the phone. When you call customer support, you'll get Indonesia, but it'll be Indonesia just over here. People can move around however they want. And if you got enough money, you can do whatever you want. And they got plenty of money. They got trillions. The U.S. is its own bank. People borrow against it all the time. It's got equity. It's got people working. So the U.S. borrows against the U.S. all the time. That's why we're in debt. So I'm going to tell you what. I, for one, am not going to sit by and let anybody just tell me a story, and I'm not going to research it. And I need y'all to start researching. If you watch this show, please go research some shit. Please do. And if it doesn't match up, that and the information is too far on two sides, then you know what? Screw that story, because it's meant to divide. There's no middle ground. And when there's no middle ground, that means it's a conflict. And once there's a conflict that can't end, it'll just be a conflict. Just like the wars that go on over in the, like Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. Been going on for years. It's because it's a conflict. And there's no middle ground. So they just got to keep fighting. I'm done fighting with y'all about this. Because I know that we can do better. Black culture, American culture, whatever culture, we can do better. Stop letting them filter your information and have you hyped up over something that, one, don't have nothing to do with you, and two, really won't affect you. You really can't affect anyway. You upset about the guy in El Salvador. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Meanwhile, the kids down the street don't have a rec center to play in, or they don't have a coach for their basketball team. But you're worrying about somebody in El Salvador who don't even live in your state. You're more worried about that than what's going on right in your own backyard. I, for one, am not for that shit no more. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I challenge all of these goofy narratives. I challenge all of it. Because you're not going to just tell me something. Because 99% of these people are not smarter than us. We just take their word for it because they have nice cameras and TV time. But these folks are just people too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping everybody did get a moment to at least think about it. Because if you're not on my side, that's fine. You got to be on my side. Be on the side of truth. Be on the side of growth. Be on the side of community. And I will make the point one more time because I know some folks just came in at the end, and I do appreciate y'all stopping in at the end here because the notifications didn't go out for about 35 minutes. We had to restart the stream. Well, we didn't restart it. YouTube cut the whole stream because I was talking about teaching and education and not teaching kids about how to have sex in sex ed. And they didn't like that topic. So every time I get into that realness, they always take me out of it. And that's cool. We stuck with it. We came back to it. But I'm just going to address a couple of quick chats. I'm going to get up out of here because I want to spend a little bit of time with wife. Okay? And Cedric B, Purple Groovy, Mr. Booski, or the Mr. Booski, sorry. Hope it's Mr. Booski. Draco, Albon, IMZ, all my folks, my mods that stopped in. I appreciate y'all for coming in because y'all make it do what it do. This gong's for you. Okay? And to the rest of you guys that might be new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you come back. We'll be back for our nighttime weekly tomorrow. Now, this is when I got my boys Bricks and Bravo from the Nice Ass Podcast. They'll be on. And we'll definitely be talking a little bit more. But I want y'all to understand, man, they've been getting over. I've been saying this. And everybody's, oh, you like Trump. No, he's one of them too. But stop acting like the last crew was so amazingly honest and this is the devil. No, they from the same cloth, y'all. So you got to pay attention. Because what we did was we took all the love we had for the possibility of a black woman being president and turned it into let's just talk shit in the street and do nothing. Let's just keep doing protests that have no point. No litigation on the table we're trying to turn around. No new policies that we're trying to enact. We're just outside talking shit with no point. And I'm getting real tired of y'all not inviting me to these things. I need the content, folks. Because I got to see what the hell these people talk about. Because to me, they all seem so simple. But maybe if you're cut off from good information, you get pulled into one side and the algorithm starts feeding you a whole bunch of one thing, then you might get caught up. Okay? But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. China, guys, we've been known that China and Vietnam and all of them was doing this shit for pennies on the dollar, and we were paying extra for these products. We all knew that Nikes were overpriced. We all knew that all that stuff, Hilfiger, you name it, was all overpriced because we knew where it was coming from. And for years they've been saying, hey, it only takes, just hold up anything. I don't even know. It only costs 2 cents to make this brush, but we pay $7 for it. We've been saying this shit for years. So I don't care no more. What I do care about is the fact that gas prices are still too damn high. And oil and petroleum is here. So let's start working on that. We worrying about China. Anybody that's like, China's getting over on us. Yes, they have been for quite some time. And we stood right by and took it up the ass. And then laughed at people for having knockoffs when the knockoffs were the same thing, just without a label on them. And we all knew what we were paying for. We knew we were paying for the label. So why are we talking about it? You see what I'm saying? This was an old story to me. I've known this since I was a kid. When I was trying to get my parents to buy me expensive ass shoes, and they shared it with me. Like, no, we're not paying that. You know how much it costs to make that thing? 10 cents. I'm not paying $100 for something that costs 10 cents. And those parents were considered, oh, they're being stingy and all this kind of stuff. And now we out here paying dumb amounts for stuff that we know is not worth that. And then we're going to get mad because the other country is saying, ha ha, we've been doing this to y'all the whole time, but don't blame us, blame the government. And what do? We get mad at the country for saying it. I'm not with that shit. I'm not mad at China. China, get your money. You know what I'm saying? If our folks set us up like that, it's not China's fault. China was in the right place at the right time, and they decided to get their money. That's all I'm saying. All that China stuff and Vietnam and tariffs, I don't care about none of that if the gas is still too expensive. And right now, there's no tariffs. So why is the gas price not significantly coming down right now? There's no tariffs right now. None of that shit changed from what it already was. None of that. There was a 90-day pause if you didn't know. That's 3 months from, a week ago? So nothing's happened. So why is my gas not coming down? So you want to have real conversations? Let's talk about that. But just so y'all understand, man, we are not going. I'm not going to just let none of this stuff just keep on going on, and I'm not going to say my piece. I know YouTube doesn't like it because YouTube is owned by Google. Google's owned by Alphabet Incorporated. Alphabet Incorporated is part of a much larger business that deals with content filtering and so on and so forth. And they haven't been held to account, and I don't have no problem saying it on their forum because I know what it is. I didn't seen it. They tried to hold Twitter to account, Facebook to account. You can't hold Instagram to account because that's always going to be trash and ass. So, but the ones that were supposed to be reputable sources for information, but not Google and not YouTube. And I'm not even going to get into who owns the companies because then I'm going to get in trouble for that. But if you want to, go ahead and research it. Research Alphabet Incorporated, which is the conglomerate that owns Google. Google owns YouTube. You can run down the line. Follow the money. Okay? At the end of the day, this is all to keep us over here talking about one thing while they slowly but surely usher in AI to do all them jobs that we think they're going to bring back. Nope. All that shit's going to be automated, and it's going to be a person that knows how to deal with the automation. That's the job you're going to need to have. So if you're not learning about AI or how to deal with APIs or any of that kind of stuff right now, you're going to be stuck working at, I don't know where, because eventually McDonald's will be all automated. So you won't even there won't be no people in there. Be a couple Optimus robots just for the sake of cleaning. And not even that, they probably just have the floor robot. You know, the one that goes around and vacuums and sweeps? They have a couple of those going in there cleaning off stuff. They have the Optimus maybe do the tables. They have one person that manages an entire staff of automation, from robots to the tellers. And I don't mean like physical tellers, but if you've been into a McDonald's in the last couple of years, you notice they have automated kiosks now. I went to a drive-thru the other day. There's no person in the drive-thru, not talking. The thing is talking to me, and I'm putting in my order. So that's one less person's job, because there used to be a person that talked to you, and then there was a person that delivered the food. Now it's just the food person. The person on the microphone ain't there no more. So that's what we need to be focused on. And Cedric B., you said it right. What's going to happen when we can't make a living? It's one thing to have low wages, but what if you just can't qualify for a job? What if there's no jobs available because it's all AI-based and you never learn that shit? Imagine if every job was like a computer job and you don't know nothing about computers. Where you going to work? You know what you're going to have to do? Come up with some money to go to a class so somebody else can get paid while you learn. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So don't take it from me. Take it from Google, Google Nest Cloud. They just did their big convention last week, rolled out all the new AIs. If you have an Android phone, you might notice that Gemini just kind of popped up in there for you. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention, guys. Even Google just changed within the last 24 to 48 hours and how it's memorizing things. This is all machine learning. It's all building up to a point where they're going to minimize the workforce. There's always going to be room for the human element, because we're still better than AI. I'm just letting you know. Computing, yes, AI can do math and shit like that. That's fun. All right. But that's what I need you to do, because I don't have time for that. I got other stuff to do. But when it comes to creative thinking and reasoning, and one of the things that I've said, once AI figures it out, then we got a problem. Comedy. AI is never funny to me. It's never it doesn't know funny. It only gets its funny from a human input saying, do this, say this, show this. So AI hasn't learned humor, sarcasm, correct ebonics. You see what I'm saying? Once the machine learning starts picking up on that, now we're going to have a problem, and that's what this new update was for. So now your little Gemini assistant is supposed to be learning. It's supposed to be learning how to talk to you. It's supposed to be learning ebonics. And then it takes that, puts that information up into the hive mind so that it's available to everyone. And then Gemini is also connected to Grok now. They're going to have, they're working together. And then, of course, the little one, Siri. Okay? And then who else comes after Siri? Alexa. So it's all in the same boat, using the same information, and will grow and grow and grow and grow until it becomes a point where we don't have no jobs. We'll have less jobs then than we have now. They'll be talking about job creation, but it'll be jobs created for AI bots. We created 10 million jobs last month, but no humans got those jobs. Telling you, y'all better pay attention. And Cedric, this is what I'm talking about. They're talking about putting the human brain into the AI bots. That's what they're doing. It's called machine learning. So they've opened the machine learning up so that the machines can learn from us. See, here's the reason why AI was so dry, is because it was written by foreigners that can't communicate the same way American people communicate with each other, or understanding cultural or geographical differences. Like, I understand the difference between a New York accent and, let's say, a Boston accent. I can hear the difference. Like, if I hear two people talking, I can be like, that person's from New York, that person's from Boston. The AI hasn't quite gotten there yet. That's what it's trying to get to. That's why they did that update. So everybody is now contributing to the machine learning, unless you opt out of it and don't use the Google assistants and don't use Gemini and don't use any of that. But now you are opting in to helping this machine, helping this machine learn how to be more human. I had a conversation with my joint yesterday, had it saying, I told it, what did I say to it? No, I was asking it a question. I said something to it, and at the end of it, I said, you feel me? And it said, I got you. Say less. That's what it said. I literally was like, yeah, man, that sounds corny, man. You feel me? It said, I got you. Say less. This is what my AI said to me yesterday. And it was because I told it, don't be corny no more. You got to be cool to talk to me. Talk to me like I'm talking to you. I don't want the robot answer. I need you to understand that what's good is how you say what's up. So when I say what's good to the AI now, instead of it trying to make food recommendations like it was before, because if I ask the AI, hey, AI, what's good? The AI will start telling me about good food. Now it understands this is what's good means, hey, how's it going? So it's learning. And this is just me messing around with it. So imagine it's got its own thing going on because it's listening all the time, paying attention. Man, I'm telling you. All right. So I got to get up off of here because that's what it does. Thanks for stopping in. The DJ stopping in. I got to get up off here. And my phone is off right now because people always call during the podcast. So I got to keep the phone off because it ends up in the recordings and messes up the shorts a little bit. So I'm going to hit you up in a second, DJ. I appreciate you stopping in, though. Haven't seen you in here in a minute. So that was good to see y'all. But yeah, folks, you already know where I stand on this thing. Get the information for yourself. Forget these mainstream news outlets. Forget, dig, okay? Dig. The rich might get a tax cut. The poor might get a tax cut. The interest rates didn't change, so that was apparently a benefit. They were trying to lower interest rates. They didn't. That wasn't good. I would have liked lower interest rates for housing purchases and loans and finance, but that's not what happened. So we still got to do this thing. We still got to navigate it. But in the interim, stop going out here and protesting about stuff that don't mean nothing. Protest some shit that means something. Stop letting them decide what you protest. That's why I said they never invite me to the protest, because they know I'm not coming out there if it's on some goofy stuff. They just need bodies making noise, and that's a waste of time. And y'all know how I feel about time waste. I call the people that set that up, I call them time rapists, because you won't get none of it back. And the scars that are left will continue to be there. So nonetheless, guys, I appreciate y'all for stopping in. A couple more little gongs. Cedric B, thanks for stopping in. The DJ, my man DJ Shell, thanks for stopping in. Let's see who else we got up in here. Cedric was really talkative today. Draco, thanks for stopping back in. I know that the notifications was not going out. Purple Groovy, thank you for stopping in. We're going to talk about Purple Groovy coming back as a mod soon. Frankie was in there. Hackman was in there. IMZ was in there. Y'all did well with me today. Lolly Watts was in there. And of course, my super mod, the captain of the Troll Patrol, my man Al Bond, was in there. Thank you, sir, for making sure that the trolls stayed out of the chat today. I didn't see not one. And I think that is a positive day, because when the trolls take over, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And I'm out.